Live coverage right now on News Channel 8. We told you earlier about a live news conference that's happening right now. This is Michael Brown's family and their attorneys in Ferguson, Missouri. Let's listen in. Problems with video, it froze up, but we'll get back to that in just a second when we can. The Brown family is expected to talk about recent revelations that were released today with a video showing their son in a convenience store, and that the naming of the police officer has been released, the person who was involved in that fatal shooting. We are trying to dial in a different source so we can get to this news conference. We have it. Let's listen in.
Is the mood that this family wants to see. Now, we heard from the chief, and we believe that certainly that the rest of the world sees it for what it was worth, that the pictures that were released and the video has nothing to do with what happened and how he was killed on that day. That's very important, that people understand that and see it for what it's worth. Number three, as you know, and most importantly, although the state has their investigation going on, the feds are participating in a full-fledged civil rights criminal investigation that's going on. The mother has been interviewed as part of this investigation. That investigation is taking place, it's going on, and let me say, we totally trust, on behalf of the family, totally trust the investigation that they are doing. We don't know the specifics of what they're doing because they can't tell us that. But we do know that they have talked to her and they're moving forward. They have the resources that are on the ground, including the agents and folks from D.C., as well as the local folks from the Eastern District of Missouri, participating in that investigation. Lastly, we want to thank everyone. The family particularly wants to thank Governor Jay Nix, Governor of Missouri, for his personal approach of reaching out and taking some very decisive actions in this community to protect life and safety and to make sure that laws are obeyed. We also want to thank President Obama and Attorney General Holder for what they have done to make sure that we are responsible. This family has belonged to this community for a long time, and they're very proud of this community. And it's important that the public know they want nothing less than law and order tonight. We want tonight to be just like last night, as we remember Mike Brown. And let me say, as we move forward, I'm sure that the chief has other things he may put out there. We believe the most important thing, not any kind of pictures, is what happened that particular day in the middle of that street as that officer killed Mike. Let's not lose focus of that, because people will always create sideshows in situations like this to protect their own. Now, it's my distinct pleasure. We have the fortune of having an excellent local counsel here in the state of Missouri. We're very proud of him. Anthony Gray, would you please come?
Thank you. I won't be long. I just want to reiterate some of the things that Mr. Parks just said, and also recount some of my conversations with the family. Let me be real clear to everyone here that this family has never said that Mike Brown Jr. was a perfect kid. In fact, if you remember in the earlier interviews with the father and the mother, the dad even described incidents and where he had to keep his foot on his son's back. And his mom described having to push her child to the point where he can have the kind of future that he was planning just the days after he was killed, shot and killed in broad daylight. And so I don't want anybody to leave here with the misconception that these parents have ever portrayed that about their child. And so I anticipate that you may see, as Attorney Parks stated, other images or other photographs or depictions that don't paint him in the most complimentary light, as he's being pushed by his parents to be the best kid that he can be, to make up his decision about his future. And I agree with him and those that have called me and contacted me that that is just a major distraction about an 18-year-old child. He probably did 15-year-old stuff, and I don't think there's anyone out here at that particular age who is proud of everything that they've done from the day that they were born until the day they became 18. So I join with him in making sure that we're not distracted. And now let me transition to why we are really here, why there is a community-wide, statewide, countrywide, international interest in this case. When I got the call that this young man, allegedly by witnesses, had his hands in the air as a universal sign of surrender, and it was at this time bullets were pumped into his body, I perked up like a German Shepherd. And I would imagine that anybody will when they hear that. That goes for law enforcement officials, law enforcement officers that have contacted me, that agree that that is a very disturbing scenario and that we should get to the bottom of that. That also includes community-wide people. That has united the white people, black people, Hispanic people, Asian people. Mike Brown Jr. could have been a white guy, an Asian guy. If you have your hands in the air and the police fire shots at you, I think all of you guys would be assembling right now to find the answers out to that situation. So this is a community-wide, nationwide call to understand an incident that happened on that day. I don't want to lose track of it. We're only talking about a few minutes to where these witnesses are claiming that Mike Brown Jr. had his hands in the air before the police shot and killed him in broad daylight. What happened in the 18 years before that does not matter. All we're looking at is this, taking this as true. That is disturbing to everybody, and if it's not disturbing to you, then you have a public interest or an interest that's different than most people in the public. Now, we're here to talk about the latest events that have come out in the media and the Ferguson Police Chief's decision to release the still pictures in the video. The family feels that that was strategic. They think it was aimed at denigrating their son. It was a character assassination attempt. That is pretty much the sentiments of everyone that I've discussed. They think the timing is suspect, and at a time where the highway patrol has been called in, where we got a calm that's going on in the community, we finally reaching the point where things are settled down, he's now inciting the community all over again. So if you get this kind of negative, violent reaction to this, it won't be on anybody's part on this side. And so I want to preface that we were finally getting to a point where we were starting to just galvanize the questions that everybody was curious about, and now we're focused on a sideshow. And that is really unfair to this family. Even in spite of that, I have been asked to make a plea to those that are under the sound of my voice to do not take the bait from anybody that is trying to character assassinate Mike. Do not take that and react negatively to people in the public. Don't take that and begin to riot. Don't take that and begin to loot. This family is not for that. They've made that plain and clear. So I just wanted to deliver that to everybody here and just make sure that I convey that message to you. Now, it is my distinct honor to deliver to you. Eric Davis, by the way, is the cousin of Leslie. When she was looking at the events earlier, Mr. Davis actually could not get away to attend some of the other press conferences because she was clinging to him like Velcro. So you're about to hear from the person that is probably the most closest to Leslie in this whole case. So you're going to hear from him, but you're actually listening to Leslie as well. So I'll turn the mic over to Mr. Eric Davis.
First of all, I want to thank you all for being here today and for supporting the family in their efforts to seek justice for Michael Brown, which we're trying to do today. Earlier, the chief did release a video that was basically what we think was basically smoke and mirrors to try to divert the attention away from what really occurred. The events that took place on Canfield had nothing to do with whatever grocery store Michael may have been in or the person who was on the video was in, because we don't know that that was Michael for sure. So whatever that took place there had nothing to do with an individual getting down on his hands and knees, raising his hands in the air and saying, "Don't shoot." This is a universal call for I surrender. And I can hear my cousin's voice right now as I speak saying, "Don't shoot." Yet and still, the officer stepped to him and shot him is what we're hearing from officer. And that is wrong. And we want the truth to come out, and we're sure that it will as the day goes on. We're asking the community to please consider us, please support us, stay with us, but do not get distracted. We don't want to see any violence in the street. Please continue to peacefully protest. We thank you for your support.
The last thing we'll say before we take questions, at 3 p.m. on Sunday, the family will be at a rally at the Jefferson Memorial downtown, 3 p.m. We're asking the public to come out in strong support, and so please govern yourself accordingly. We'll take a few questions.
Please clarify. Is that Michael Brown in the video? Did he rob that store? Did he rough up that clip?
It appears to look like him.
That doesn't constitute.
I wouldn't say he robbed it, but that picture appears to look at him. I think that you look at the video, I think you get a better picture. I think what you have to think about is for some reason the chief decided to release those pictures, right? Those pictures look a lot worse than the actual video. Why would he strategically put this community and the world through a whole day of seeing those pictures when he had a video that was a far better portrayal? You have to ask yourself that question. We believe that he strategically did that to assassinate the character of Michael Brown.
That's him.
Other questions?
Is that him?
I answered the question already. It appears to be him. I didn't know him personally. It appears to be him.
Could you talk a little bit about what Michael Brown, what the family thought Michael Brown was doing that day? Like, what was he supposed to be doing? Do they know anything about just his day before this happened?
Well, he was staying with some friends in the area, is what I've been told.
Do you know anything else about what he was doing?
That's all I would probably answer to that question. Any other questions? Yes. Well, first of all, the family, obviously we have had participated in the second autopsy for our purposes in terms of as the civil lawyers in this case. We've also asked the Department of Justice to consider doing their own independent autopsy in this case as well. That'll be their decision. And then after that takes place, obviously the family has to honor and remember Michael in their own way, and they will do that after the federal Department of Justice has done whatever they choose to do.
Did the family know about the presser? Did you know that this was something coming? Like, did you have any heads up? Did you just talk a little bit about
this here? Well, that's a good question. Let me say this here. As we talked with Michael's mother today, and then she saw what had happened, what the chief had done, right? She was very distraught about that. And as we talked with her, she said, why would he do that? And why, after the great night last night? And so she thought it was very important before tonight that everyone here know that she is okay with what the investigation is and that she wanted people to remain calm. That's very important. So that's why she looked to this man and looked to her significant other and said, you know what, y'all go. And this is her significant other, his mother. And he said, I want y'all to go down there, and it's important that people know that we want them to stay calm, that justice is moving now in the right direction. So she wanted that message. I mean, we didn't really want to do this, but we thought it's very important that we shouldn't put people in harm's way like we believe others have done by being very careless in how they've conducted themselves in their official capacities.
But did police tell the Brown family, did they share the name with the Brown family of Darren Wilson before?
The name of the officer?
Before they told everybody else?
No.
Did they tell them anything before they spoke to the police?
No.
From the autopsy, how many times was he actually shot?
I won't answer that right now.
Sir, did you say you had conducted that second autopsy?
Oh, yes.
It's completed.
It's completed. Well, it's done, and we'll talk about that later. We're not answering any questions about the second autopsy this time. We will at the time that we designate.
Sir, would you mind, could you put this in perspective for the rest of the country? Why they should care about what's going on here in their community?
Well, I think they should care because, like I stated before, when you have witness accounts saying that an officer, a sworn officer to uphold the law, shot an unarmed person with their hands up as a universal sign of surrender, that is so deeply disturbing that it should rivet around the globe. And let me tell you what I think about when I see this. You have some of the most hardened criminals that are in jail right now that when they gave this sign, they were taken into custody peacefully. I think about Saddam Hussein. I think about Charles Manson. When those guys did this, they've done way more stuff than being alleged of taking cigarillos from a 7-Eleven. They did far more worse crimes than that. But when they did this, they were then taken into custody peacefully. And all we saying is that when a person does this, as Mr. Davis described, on his knees, and then he shot and killed immediately after doing that, that is just not a community concern. That's not a St. Louis thing. That is a nationwide problem and interest. And all they want to know, the world is just curious. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Of all the things for the chief to talk about and to release, could he have at least released some information on the justification for why this officer would shoot a person in broad daylight? Could he not have divulged to the public like Mr. Parks was there, as the number of shots. He had facts and information he could release that we're all interested in, but yet he chose to talk about something to darken up this man's past as opposed to bringing up the things that brighten up his future.
We asked the chief about the timing of the release of this video, and he said he released the footage because the media was asking for it. What's your response to that? I mean, what's your
I think common sense would tell you it was strategic. Common sense would tell you it was strategic. There's no explanation you can give other than that. That at a time when the name was the issue, he made a decision to release it then. We're going to take just a few more last questions. Any more? Three last questions, yes. Are you in the media, sir? No. Okay, we keep only media people at this time. We'll answer your question privately.
Have you seen the results of the autopsy?
Have not.
And what has it told you that you didn't know prior to seeing that, including how many shots were fired?
We're not going to talk about the second autopsy right now that we did, and we don't know anything about their autopsy, but there will be a time for that. Two more questions? One more. I'll come to you. Yes.
You say strategies, that implies the games being played. What games being played, in your opinion?
Well, I think the character assassination. I think, you know, what all these things about Michael Brown, that whatever happened in that store had nothing to do with that in terms of the officer's mindset and his decision to shoot Mike and to kill him. Those two are not together. So anything other than that, any portrayal of him is something that's meant to be a sideshow. And to be honest with you, it's a diversion from the conduct of the officer at that time. We all have to focus on the conduct of the officer at that time. All right, that's all we have. Thank you all so much for coming. And it was important to this family that the world know that we must remain peaceful, that we've lost Mike, they're mourning. And let me say, I mean, this has been very hard for his mother and father. I can't tell you how hard, how distraught, I mean, just as overwhelming as an experience can be to a person they're going through right now. So I would hope that you would understand why they don't have the courage just to walk out here for the convenience of whoever and whatever, right? We hope to see y'all at 3 o'clock at the Old Jefferson Memorial downtown on Sunday. The family will be there. They're going to do their best to try and make it there. Thank you all so much for coming.
Can you confirm your name?
Live coverage on News Channel 8. The family of Michael Brown and their attorneys are speaking out about the death of the 18-year-old. They're pleading for calm in the community tonight after the shooting death of Michael, and they also want more clarity from the police department about what happened the night that he was shot. Earlier today, convenience store video was released of an alleged strong-arm robbery involving Brown, but his family and their attorneys are calling that a distraction to the real issue of his death. Keep it here on News Channel 8 for continuing coverage this evening and throughout the weekend.